still empty, and that needle has stayed there since then. Don't know how big the tank is. It was at half a tank yesterday. I filled it up, and $50 topped it off. So I'm guessing around $105 to fill it up from E. But I don't plan on driving it to E ever, because it's not good for diesels. All right, 17.2 miles to the gallon. Now this was city driving last night. I drove around in the city, and I was getting this type of gas mileage, like from a stoplight. If I'm going about 40 miles an hour, that RPM, that needle won't go past about 1100, 1200. Like my mind's blown over that. I'm so used to gasoline engines. All right, engine hours. So that's how long the engine, how many hours it's been driven for, how many hours it ran for, and that's it. So I'm gonna pop the hood. I'm gonna give her a little acceleration. Picks up. I'm gonna pop the hood, show you guys inside the hood, show you what I'm working with. Now I know a lot of people badmouth the 6.0 because of the flaws that the 6.0 back when they first came out. I believe like in the late 2003 or early 2004s when they first came out. They badmouthed it a lot because of the issues it was having. Yeah, they badmouthed it because of the issues it was having with the EGRs and the head gaskets blowing. That's because people thought you could go 100,000 miles without changing the radiator fluid and coolant. Explain that to you a little bit once I play the engine. Alright, double start battery here, double start battery there. Alright, power shift, V8 turbo diesel. That turbo back there. Clean truck. I love it. I love doing that. It's going to do what I need to do. If I have anything to do with home, I used to do it. Go ahead and turn her off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. AC works good, gets cold as fuck. All the steering controls work on here, volume, all this stuff. Let's see, there we go. For the fan, see, I turn the fan up, turn it down from the steering wheel, temp, do that. Cruise control works awesome. It's just it's a good truck. It's a good truck. I consider this like the luxury, like the top of the luxury trucks you can get. But obviously still keeping it as a truck, and it's still able to tow so much. Like my buddy was telling me, he was telling me that if I was to tow the max weight that this can tow, that I would need a license to tow that in the state of California. Which I started laughing, but then again, it's California, so who knows what the fuck their stupid laws are. But yeah, this is her. Oh, I forgot to mention the rear window there. Power sliding. I forgot to show that, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what that looks like. Yeah, so what I was going to say about the 6.0 is that 6.0 is it's a Ford made it, and it's a good truck. On paper, the 6.0 is faster. It has more power than the 7.3, which everybody's in favor of, but it had its flaws with those two major components, with the head gaskets and the EGR. Now with the EGR, it wasn't so much of the maintenance given. It was just the way they made the EGR. It was weak. It wasn't strong enough for this engine, for what people were doing. It wasn't good enough. Head gaskets, that's different. All right, people were doing was they were like, oh, it's a diesel, you can go a whole year without changing the oil, the coolant's good for 3 years, and then what happened is they made a mistake and they put antifreeze in there, like the one you can get from like AutoZone or Walmart or something. They put antifreeze in there, and then what happened is that antifreeze is not recommended for this. It's not made for this type of truck. You can put antifreeze in some little cheap Honda, some fucking Rice car, I don't give a fuck. You can put it in, or any other old school car, but you have to put specific coolant in here, and the Ford has a coolant, and I had to go there yesterday and buy the coolant. It was like $25 for a gallon, and I had to get 3 gallons of it, and it's Ford's gold coolant. and I got 3, but I got a little discount because I'm in the military. So yeah, so like, yeah, well, that was the issue. But and the thing also is how often you change it. They say you should change your coolant once a year, but in reality, coolant needs to be getting changed at least 6 months for this truck. And if you're doing extensive driving and you're driving in hot climates all the time, you got to do it even more, you know, because what's going to happen is your EGR has an oil cooler below it, and what happens is that oil cooler has coolant that runs through it and around it that keeps it cool, and it's an engine and it's the oil cooler for, like, I believe it's the transmission. So what happens is, well, no, not the transmission, I'm sorry, it's the engine oil cooler, just that. And what happens is it gets gunked up because they put the wrong type of coolant in there, and that gunked up stuff clogs that cooler, and what happens is your engine overheats, and then you fry your block, and then you blow your head gaskets, and then people badmouth the 6.0. But I've talked to many people, and I read a lot of forums online, and they said if you can bulletproof it, or if you can delete it completely, you're gonna save a lot of money. It's like an $800 procedure to get it deleted or bulletproofed. Or if you have one and it got replaced, just maintain it, take care of it, put the proper coolant in it, make sure it's clean, make sure when you change the coolant you flush it. That's why I'm doing all this myself, because I don't trust if I take it to someone, if I take it like Midas or Jiffy Lubes or Goodyear, I don't trust them. I don't feel they're gonna put the right coolant in. I don't feel they're gonna flush it out the right way. I don't feel they're gonna, same thing with the oil changes. I just don't trust them. Same thing with the oil change. When you change the oil, you got to put, it's recommended you put good synthetic oil in there, like Rotella synthetic, Mobile synthetic is really good for this, and Deco is really good oil for this truck. It's good for the injectors that way, because the injectors don't get clogged. What else? I'm trying to speed up the video now because I'm running out of time. It's just other things too about it. You know, you got to maintain the truck, take care of it. You know, change your transmission fluid. When you change fluids, change filters. They might tell you the filter is good for a year or 2 changes. Don't take time, get the filter every time you do it. I'm about to change the oil. I'm changing the oil filter with it, and along with the oil filter, I'm changing the cap and the packing for the oil filter, because they say those are good for 2 or 3 times, but I don't know when the last time it got changed, so I'm just going to change it to save the headache. And also, you got to make sure you put the right cap on it, because if it's a Napa cap, the Napa caps are taller because their filters are taller. So if you put the wrong cap and the wrong filter in, it's going to fuck everything up in your engine. All right, you got to do all that. When you change the transmission fluid, change the transmission filter. All it is 20 bolts that holds the pan down there. You take the pan off, there's a black filter there, you pull that out, and then there's another black filter, or there's another transmission filter, an inline one, that located up front by the Ford, underneath. It's a cover that you put like a 38mm on there, and you break that, and it's like it looks like a roll of toilet paper. Change that guy out too. You know, I don't do a lot of towing at all, or driving at all. I probably drive about a total of like 5,000 miles a year, which is not a lot, but I'm still gonna maintain this truck as if I'm driving it all the time. It's all about maintenance. Does it cost a little bit more money? Yeah, it does, but the price, what you're getting for it, is a good truck that's gonna last you as long as you want it to last. These transmissions on these trucks are some of the best transmissions Ford have had on their diesels. These transmissions are electronic. They're not mechanical. So when you take it off, there's like 4 or 5 bunch of solenoids on the bottom of the plant, on the bottom of the transmission. So it's all electronic. All right, so it's a good truck. I love it. It rides good. I might make another video of me working on it, or when I do little upgrades and stuff. I do intend on putting a lift on it and upgrading the tires and stuff, but that, you know, that comes in time later on. What else? You know, for now it's just the basic maintenance, the routine maintenance that I want to get on, because it doesn't have a sticker up there for it, and it doesn't have I asked him when's the last time he changed the oil, and he's like, it's probably been about 10,000 miles. And right there I was like, all right, well, it's already fucked up. So I don't trust anything on here, any fluid in here, so everything's getting drained and flushed, and it's gonna be fucking running good, even better after that. Not that it doesn't run good already. All right, so thanks for watching my video. Shout out to Benjamin. I made this for you, buddy. All right, peace.